Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tatulyam Rama Nama Varanane Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tatulyam Rama Nama Varanane Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् Om. Pranams to the lotus feet of the Lord, pranams to all the Mahatmas and Gurujis, pranams to all of you. We are in the shloka number 77. Vishwamurtir Mahamurtir Mahamurtihi Deepta Murtina Murtiman Anehamurti Abhyaktaha Shadamurti Shatananaha. Vishwamurtihi, the one whose form is the Jagat. Mahamurtihi, one with a great form. Deepta Murtihi, one with an effulgent form. Amurtiman, one without a form. Aneka Murtihi, one with many forms. Up to this we have seen. If you look at all these namas, it will be so confusing for a beginner. On one hand, you say he is having many forms. On the other hand, he has got no form. So Amurtiman without a form. One with a great form, Mahamurtihi. Vishwamurtihi, one whose form is Jagat. And Aneka Murtihi, one with many forms. And the next two nama which we are going to see is Avyaktaha, which is the unmanifest. Avyaktaha. Avyaktaha means unmanifest. When you say Bhagavan says he is born due to the prayers of the people, does it mean that is he really born? No. Even though he is manifest in many forms, he is really has got no form, no birth, no death at all. So Bhagavan is essentially Avyakta, not Vyakta, not available for objectification by the senses and not determinable as this is how he is. His Swarupa is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. And this is to be understood. That is why Bhagavan says in Gita, those who lack Viveka, not knowing my limitlessness, changelessness, look upon me who is formless as one endowed with a manifest form. Avyaktam Vyaktima Pannam Manyante Mama Buddhayah Param Bhavamajanantah Mama Vyayamanutamam comes in the 7th chapter of the Gita. So people think Bhagavan is having the form. Actually, has got no form. Bhagavan clearly says in Gita. Then Shatamurti. Shatamurti means one who has got thousands of forms. Though essentially he is of the nature of pure consciousness, he is Shatamurti, one who sports hundreds of forms. Hundreds here stands for Ananta, the countless. There are many different forms in the Jagat, and every form is his form only. I told you, Vishwarupa, everything is Bhagavan only. Again, these are all further multiplied because of the varying subjective perceptions. Then Shatanana, one who has got many faces. Now, Anana means face. Because he is Shatamurti, he is also Shatanana, one who has got countless faces. In South India, there is a custom. Now, that is on the Vishu day, that is a New Year day. As per the Tamil or Kerala almanac, we have got a Vishu, which comes normally around April 14th or 15th. And what we do is we spread lots of vegetables and fruits along with rice and then some dal and then some gold coins, all those things or ornaments we keep it, and then put a big mirror in front of the Lord. And what we are supposed to do is on the day of on the day when you get up, on the New Year day when you get up, you are supposed to walk straight to the Lord, not even brushing your teeth. You are supposed to go straight to the altar where this whole thing will be set up the previous night, and you are supposed to see your face, see all the fruits and vegetables and all these things which is there, and see your face and do namaskara to the Lord. Then only the day starts. So what does it mean? It's a very significant one. So He, so he is the one who is Shatananaha. So every person is asked to look at himself in the mirror. Thus, every face in the entire universe is the face of Bhagavan. That is the significance. So he has got many faces. He has got many faces. So now, if you look at this Nama, for a person who doesn't have any Vedantic background, will be absolutely confusing. That is why I always believe once you have got at least the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, one will be able to enjoy any other scripture. Otherwise, some portions of it which is confusing like this, where he says, I have got multiple faces, then I am Avyaktam, I am Amurtiman, all those things are extremely confusing for people. No, it is a two different opposite, diagonally opposite thing, which is truth. So, to summarize again, our Shastra presents God in three stages. I'm briefly telling, if you come to our Gita class, you will have a detailed explanation of all these things. It is only a very brief commentary. Come to the Gita class. So, what is the thing is, for a very basic junior student, for an elementary student, Bhagavan is presented as Ekarupaha. That is where we say Rama, Krishna, Devi, Ayyappa, all those things. We have got a name and form of the God. We have got hundreds of gods. And each one pick up their own favorite ones and also fight with each other, may saying that my God is superior, all those things. There are a lot of Ayyappa Bhaktas. There are a lot of Bhaktas who are, say, Vishnu Bhaktas. They will say, I will not worship anybody else. Like this, they will say, no, no, I will not worship anybody. There are some Shiva Bhaktas who says that nobody else is there. Like this, they are staunch Bhaktas devoted to one particular God. It is called Ekarupaha. So, by which we say God is somewhere in Vaikunta or Kailasha, or he is in the Shabarimala. So, you say something, and then from there he is blessing us. And then you take the altar and put their photograph, and then puja, all those things you do it. This is the Manda Adhikari, the elementary student. And after some time, once you do this, then you will question, understand, you will question if God is in sitting in Vaikunta or Kailasha, and as we also hear saying that God is all pervading. How is it possible? Simply logically, it is impossible, right? So, once you ask some further questions, you will come to know God not is not residing in one place, he is all pervading. Then you are introduced the second level for a slightly a mature student who is an inquisitive student who asks the question. Typically, when our children ask such question, we immediately turn down because we have not studied the scriptures. If you don't study the scriptures, if children ask, then we will say, no, 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 you have to, don't ask all those things. You have to come to the temple Sunday and you have to definitely come to the temple. Nowadays, it is like church going. We also visit the temple only once in a while. And if the child is small, maybe less than 10 years, then you have to drag them along with you because they cannot be left alone home. So you drag them. And the child asks the question, you don't have the answer because you have not studied. If you study a little bit and inquire a bit, then you understand Bhagavan is not Ekarupa, he is a Anekarupa. The Shastra presents that way. In fact, the second section of Gita itself, from chapter number 7 to 12, primarily is to pull a person from Ekarupam to Anekarupam. That is where we have got the Vishwarupa Darshana as one chapter is given there. So, where the person is introduced that God is only manifesting as the universe. God is manifesting as the world. So God is sitting somewhere is the first stage. Then he said God has descended and he is manifesting as the world. And Vishnu Sahasranaamam, predominantly most of the namas are emphasizing on this second aspect only. In few places we are talking about the third stage, which I will tell you now. But predominantly in Vishnu Sahasranaamam, many of the namas are either it is explaining the glory of Vishnu or it is explaining the, what is that? The Vishwarupa of the Vishnu. That's what we have seen in many namas in different ways. It is there. Then once you say God became the world, then we will ask the question. Then you require further intellectual curiosity to understand. If God became the world, that God also and became the world. When the world comes to end, what will happen to God? Obviously, the question will come, because we all have heard about the pralaya, the srishti, sthiti, laya, everything we have heard, and pralaya we have heard. When the whole world, because we have, even in science also we talk about Big Bang, when the whole world came. Now, when sometime it will end, even the sun is a star which will one day will stop, will glowing. So all these things, even scientifically, we are presented. So if you say that way, if you ask the question, God became the world, what will happen to this God after this world has gone? Does the God also have got the date of birth, date of death, like the universe? What is it? This is where it comes a question. So then Krishna says, no, no, this is again for you to gradually come up. And then we say, God is in fact, really, the correct answer is God is formless. God is formless. That is, He is avyaktam. So it means what we say, then when we say God is world, how do you interpret? Then we say, no, no, God is did not become the world. God appears as the world. God appears as the world. What do you mean by appears as the world? That means, is the world not really the God? That is the ultimate Vedanta. That's where we say Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, Jivo Brahmaiva Parah. Those statements are all given and explained. So there are three stages. There are three stages. God is Ekam, stage one. God is somewhere sitting. Then God is Anekam. God became the world. This is the second stage. Then the ultimate stage is God is Arupaha. God is neither Ekarupam or Anekarupam. He is Arupa. He in kuda sollappadadu. There's no gender at all. Arupaha. And God became the world to God appears the world. So initially, in the technical language, put it, God is Nimitta Karanam, intelligent cause. And then the second stage is God is Parinami Upadhana Karanam. God is the material cause, and it comes as the world. And the third stage is Vivarta Parinami Upadhana Karanam. Vivarta means seemingly appears. That is the third stage, which is a Ekarupam to Anekarupam to Arupam. Ultimately, the original God in the Vedantic language is called Brahman. In the religious language is called Bhagavan. Both are one and the same. This is what. So if you have this background, then you will be able to appreciate. So in the transactional world, we present the God as Ekarupam and Anekarupam. Really speaking, God is Arupam. Now the next question is, if you have come to the third stage, that means you should discard the other two. Should I discard all those other two? No. You keep that as in your back of the mind, God is Arupam, but you continue to switch the channels to channel 1 and channel 2, Ekam and Anekam in the transactional world. In the transactional world, you say yes. God, if somebody is asking, is God is in the Perumal temple? Yes, definitely Perumal temple he is there. Is he in Kailasa? We will say yes, he is definitely in Kailasa. He is in Vaikunta? Yes, he is in Vaikunta. Is Murugan is sitting on the top of the hill? Yes, definitely he is there. We will say that. So we will go along with the world and pray with them. Everything we will do. Or if somebody says, why are you doing the Go Puja? Yes, God is there in the Go Mata also. Why are you doing the puja for Tulsi? Yes, God is there in the Tulsi. God is there in Bilbam. He is there in every tree, every mountain, every river. Everything is God is there. Why are you doing Ayuda Puja and then do the puja for your tools? God is there. Why are you doing the Gadi Puja? In Singapore, we call it as a Gadi Puja, mixing the Hindi word, the Gadi. So Gadi Puja. So what you are doing is we will definitely do it because everything is God. So on the transactional world, you can operate in these two channels absolutely no problem. But in the keeping in mind, God is Arupaha. So Aneka Murtihi Avyaktaha represents those things that arupatvam of the God, whereas the other namas are giving the rupakam, especially all pervading. So that's the way you should look at it. So move on. Go to next shloka. Eko naikasavakhakim yatyatpadamanuttamam lokabandhurlokanatha madhavo maktavatsalah. Eko naikasavakhakim yatyatpadamanuttamam lokabandhurlokanatha madhavo maktavatsalah. Again, these namas also require some kind of a Vedantic background to appreciate. Anyhow, I'll try to explain simply. If I start going into the Vedanta, Sahasranama will not move. Then it will become a Upanishad class or Bhagavad Gita class. So I can't do that. So it is only I'm giving you some bit of tips for those who are not really studying the Bhagavad Gita. I would again humbly request you to come and study Gita to give the complete understanding of our religion. One scripture is sufficient. I repeatedly say that it's you a comprehensive roadmap, understanding where am I, what is my purpose of life, where is the goal, how to go, what is the path. Everything is clearly described in Gita itself. And all these concepts you can easily understand with the language of Gita. Now, anyhow, let us go to the next Nama 725. Ekaha, the one. He is Eka, one. Let me give a bit of explanation. Swami Dayananda beautifully has given. Let me go through that. It is a fantastic explanation. Generally, the number one is an indefinite number. Indefinite number. When we say one universe, but that universe has got millions of galaxies. Again, one galaxy has got billions of stars. One solar system has got many planets and satellites. One planet, Earth, has got many continents. One continent has got many countries. One country has got many states. One state has got many districts, towns, villages, streets, houses, and so on. And all this can finally be reduced to atoms and particles. So what is one? We generally understand one as a member of a set. And so when we hear the word one, our mind wants to know what is the set, what is the whole. So this is one body, and in that body there are so many angas, otherwise called parts, limbs. So one arm means it is different from the other parts of the body. It is one of the set of two, and it has got parts like upper arm, elbow, forearm, wrist, hand, and 5 fingers. Again, one finger can be further divided. Thus, our mind always is attuned to look at one as a member of a set with its own parts and divisions. But here, when it is said that Bhagavan is one, it is in the sense that any kind of a second thing is not there at all. Very important. So there's nothing second. There is only one. Ekaha should be only one, but it says Ekaha means one. So here it is, there is no second thing at all. Bhagavan is as essentially no parts. There is no second Bhagavan. There is nothing else other than Bhagavan. The Shruti says, Chandogya Upanishad says, Ekameva Advitiyam, the one without a second. So here his essential Swarupa is pointed out. Bhagavan is not an Angi with many Angas, a whole with parts. It is not. It is a partless one. Name and form are only Mithya. It is a Advitiya, one without a second, free from the threefold divisions. I talked about it before. There are threefold divisions which is normally there in the world, but Bhagavan has got no such divisions. What are the threefold? There is a Sajatiya Veda, the difference between the members of the same species. One tree being different from another tree. Sajatiya Veda is not there. Again, there is a Vijatiya Veda, the difference between one species and the other. A tree being different from a cow. Then there is a third one, Swagata Bheda, a difference between the parts of the object. That is, in a tree, there are different parts like branches, leaves, flowers, and so on. All these differences are possible only when parts or a second thing is there. But Lord is Purna Ekaha. Lord is Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Swagata, Veda, rahitaha. He doesn't have any such vedas, divisions, parts. Lord is Purna Ekaha, a partless one without a second. This is the meaning Ekaha. If you come to Upanishad classes, we will explain. For example, Ekameva Advitiyam and Chandogya, pages after pages of commentaries are there. And all the Purvapaksham and Siddhantam. Purvapaksham means the opposite party. How is it? So he'll question. So and then the Upanishad style is it will always question itself and say this is how it is, and then you answer it. That's how the commentaries go on. It's a very, very fantastic, brilliant work. Anyhow, this much is enough for you. Then Shatamurtihi, one who has got, sorry, not Shatamurti, next page. Eko Naikaha, Ekaha. Next one is, sorry, Naikaha. Naikaha. Naikaha means one who is not one. Immediate confusion. Now, he said Ekaha, the one. Now, Naikaha, one who is not one. So, though essentially Eka, at the same time he is Naika. That is Na Eka. Not one but many. How? How? Again, this is a confusion. So, in the Vyavahariya level, in the transactional world, as I told you earlier, he appears in many forms. By what? By his power of Maya. So, the one who has become many, the become within quote, who appears as many, the manyness is not essential attribute of Ishvara, but only an incidental attribute. It is like the clay having potness, cupness, and so on. But clay essentially is free from all these attributes. There is only one clay. Pot is not a part of the clay. Clay is as though in the form of pots, cups, and so on, lid, etc. But all that is there is only one clay. Similarly, Bhagavan is essentially one, but from the standpoint of names and forms, he is Naika, as though many, but this is due to Maya. Move on. Then Savaha. Savaha, one in the form of ritual Sava. So Sava is a ritual wherein the Soma juice is offered in the sacrifice. Here Bhagavan is the Sava ritual, is in the form as a form of Sava ritual. By performing this ritual, one goes to heaven and experiences heavenly sukha, happiness. And that sukha which is gained is also Bhagavan. So Bhagavan is called Sava. The next Nama, Kaha, one who is happiness. The word Ka it means Sukha, happiness. The Shruti praises him as Kam Brahman. Happiness is Brahman. It comes in again Chandogya Upanishad. Now, whether one gains happiness in this world through various means or in heaven by means of rituals like Sava, that happiness is Brahman alone. These are all very profound concepts. You may not be able to understand the meaning of it unless you have studied Upanishads. But for the time being, understand this much, that is sufficient. Okay. Bhagavan is Ananda Swarupaha. That's it. He is the Ananda Swarupaha. Elsewhere also, Shruti praises him as Raso Vaisaha. It comes in Taitriya. Anandam Brahma, because he is the Ananda Swarupa. So Bhagavan is the embodiment of Ananda. Ananda Swarupaha. Okay. So Kaha. Then Kim. Kim means one to be inquired into. One to be inquired into. Brahman alone is in the form of all Purusharthas. Purusharthas means human pursuits. And all pursuits in life ultimately end in Brahman alone. That Brahman becomes a Vicharya, to be inquired into, as Kim Brahma. What is Brahman? What is that self? This is how Arjuna asked, Kim tad Brahma kim adhyatmam, kim karma purushottama. The 8th chapter, Akshara Brahma Yogam, starts with that question by Arjuna. So, Kim tad Brahma. So, Kim Brahma, what is Brahman? So that which is to be inquired into this Brahman. And the inquiry is also Brahman. So, Gita presents the question, Kim tad Brahma, through the mouth of Arjuna. The Upanishad says, Tapasa Brahma Vijijñāsasva. Again, it comes in Taitriya. Tapasa Brahma Vijijñāsasva Satapo Tapyata tapo brahmeti, like this it comes. Inquiry is Brahman. Hence, inquire into Brahman. Taittiriya Upanishad, the third Anuvag, third Valli, it comes. So this is the one it has to be inquired into. So once you inquire into Brahman, I mean, I'm just giving you a synopsis. What will happen if you inquire into? You will discover by a proper inquiry, through a proper systematic study for a lengthy time with a live Acharya who has studied Vedanta properly under his Guru, who has got the ability to communicate properly and teach properly. If you go and do the inquiry, because inquiry cannot be done sitting in a corner and then say, Who am I? You will never get anything. You are a Buddhu, you are a Ashadu, that's what will come. So when you ask, inquire about the Lord or inquire about yourself, you will understand that who is the Brahman? That Brahman is nothing but myself. Aham Brahmasmi. That Mahavakyam, that equation, the great equation, you will arrive at when you study the scriptures properly. That too, how? Systematically, as our Swamiji often says, Swami Paramarthananda, who is my technical guru, I learnt a lot from him. I continue to learn from him. I'm listening to all his lectures in a systematic way. And what is the thing is, and whenever I have got a query, I will go and ask. I can give a call and then say, Swamiji, I need a clarification. Yes, he is available for a clarification also. When I go to Chennai, I meet him also. Okay, so you must have a live Acharya who is able to answer your questions, and you have to study for a length of time, that too systematically. Systematically means what? Like a structured syllabus. And thanks Swami Dayananda ji, who has created such a curriculum for our modern 21st century, 20th and 21st century, how to go about it, that too in English, everything is available. So once you study in a systematic way, you will get the in-depth of answer how it is. When I say it is one to be inquired into, once you inquire into, you will understand that Bhagavan is nothing but the Atma, which is my real Swarupa. This is the real Swarupa of this body. This body is only supported by the Atma. Anyhow, I don't want to go into those discussions. So understand, Aham Brahmasmi will come. That inquiry will get you. So then Yat means what? The already existent, pointed out by that which. So when inquiry is done, we get Yat Brahma. Yat means the pronoun, means that which denotes an already existent object. The same Upanishad points out Brahman as which one? The Taittiriya Upanishad. Na yato va imani bhuta nijayante e najata nijivanti. Upanishad says that form from which everything has come, by which everything is sustained, onto which everything goes back. That Brahman, Taittiriya Upanishad, third chapter again. This is the Tatastha Lakshana of Brahman. Tatastha Lakshana of Brahman. If one wants to know what is clay, one can define it as that from which all these parts have come, by which all these parts are sustained, and onto which all the parts go back is the clay. This is the definition. This definition is called Tatastha Lakshana of the clay. Clay does not intrinsically have potness, jarness, or lidness, or so on as its attributes, but at the same time, without the clay, these attributes cannot exist. Thus, when it is said that Kam Brahma, that Anandam Brahma, that is the Swarupa Lakshana of Brahman. So earlier, Kam Brahman, which is the Anandam, is the Swarupa Lakshana, and here Yat, which refers to the Tatastha Lakshana of the Brahman. Therefore, when the question arises, Kim Brahma, what is Brahman? The answer given is Yat, which, and understood as Tat, that. So, next Nama comes as Tat. Now, you wonder what is this Tatastha Lakshana? I will give you the simple English definition. You can note it down. So, Tatastha Lakshana is a definition of an object through a property which is not intrinsic to it, yet by which an object can be denoted and understood. Whereas Swarupa Lakshana defines an object through an intrinsic property. Now, Tatatha Lakshana defines the Brahman as the cause of the creation, sustenance, and resolution of this world. Swarupa Lakshana defines Brahman as Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Again, this Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma again comes in the Taittiriya Upanishad. So that's what it is. Now go to the next Nama. These are all very profound technical verses. Vedantic concepts are all embedded in this particular Namas. So next one is Tat, that which pervades. So from which everything has come, by which everything is sustained, and onto which everything goes back. That which is in the form of limitless Ananda, Tat Brahma, that's Brahman. So the word Tat is a pronoun meaning that, therefore can refer to anything, but when there is no reference mentioned, that indicates only Param Brahma, the cause of everything, as Tat in the sentence Tatitvam Asi. So that Brahman is called Tat because Tanoti, it alone has spread itself, Tanoti, manifests, alone has spread itself, manifested itself as this world and pervades everything. And Gita points out, now, Om Tat Sat are the three expressions used to indicate Brahman. There's a shloka which comes in the 17th chapter. Om Tat Sadidi Nirdeshaha Brahmanastravita Spritaha Brahmanastena Vedascha Yajnascha Vihitah Pura. And then it is explained what is Om, what is Tat, what is Sat, Tat, what is Yat. All those things are explained in the particular remaining shlokas in the 17th chapter. So Tat, so that we have seen. Then next one is Padam Anuttamam. Padam Anuttamam. So the ultimate abode. The ultimate abode. Padam Anuttamam. It is a one name. The second word being the adjective to the first. So let us split the word first. Pada is one word. Uttama is the second word. Anuttama. So Padam Anuttamam. Uttama Anuttama. So Pada is that which is attained by those who desire moksha. So the Pada, beyond whom there is nothing Uttama. Because nothing Uttama, equal or greater than this. That Pada, which is Brahman, because there is nothing else which is Anuttama. Anuttama means which is superior. Anuttama, which is superior. So all accomplishments are also included this one end, and that is not understood. This is the one end gaining which one can say, I have accomplished everything, and there is nothing else to be gained or done. The Mundaka Upanishad starts with that. The Shishya asking, by getting one wish, I know everything. And then the Guru starts the teaching and gives the Brahma Lakshanam also. Ettad Adreshyam, Agragyam, Agotram, Avarnam, etc. It comes there. So Bhagavan is the ultimate end to be gained. It is gained by what? Again, you have to be very, very careful. These grammatical words, the verbs are all have to be understood. Gaining is nothing but gaining the knowledge as oneself. Knowledge as oneself. What? Aham Brahmasmi. That is what is the gaining of the knowledge. Because some people think the moment you say you have to go somewhere, then you have to reach somewhere. It is not that we are talking, or you're not talking about the time and space. Purely it is a cognitive change in the mind and having the understanding. There is no question of travel involved to go to Vaikunta or Kailasha where Bhagavan is there. I will do the darshanam. Or for Tyagaraja Swamigal, who chanted 96 crore koti namas, 96 koti namas. I don't know who counted it. That's what they say. And then Rama appeared in front of him. All those things are okay in the transactional. The real thing is Bhagavan is Arupam. Anyhow, I said. So this is to be understood as knowledge as oneself. It is not gained by stilling the mind or by removing the thoughts. Biggest confusion. Meditation as a subject is only a secondary subject. It is not a primary one at all. And it is also an optional program for anybody who comes to Vedanta. It is not absolutely a must. But meditation has become such a huge dinosaurus, and everybody is doing, because meditation is a money making machine now. And there are so many people using the meditations for various things. And somebody say you will be floating somewhere, your God will come from somewhere, a ray will appear, a light will appear, a blue light will come, red light will come, you will merge with that. All those fade are fooled. People are fooled by these people, because people can nicely fool well as long as there are so many ignorant people are there, right? Like a Bitcoin, which is a Mahamitya. Anyhow, so people are removed. So there's no question of stilling the thought, because chitta vritti nirodha, Patanjali Maharishi's Yoga Sutra says. So nirodha means stilling the thoughts. Immediately, then we try to say we want to still the thoughts. That means no thought should come. While it is possible to have the still mind, it has got no value at all. By stilling the mind, you cannot get to know Bhagavan. Only by studying the Shastra with the through the Acharya, you will get to know the knowledge. By sitting in meditation without getting there, by sitting there, who am I? You ask, nothing will come. As Swamiji Dhananda used to say, you are only a fool. That's what it will come. So, what is so? So stilling the mind is not the one. So, what is the thing is? So even the waves, the breaks are done. Even when the waves and the breakers are there, still the ocean is not missed. So too, in spite of names and forms, in spite of thoughts, Bhagavan is not missed. So he is the ultimate abode. He is the ultimate abode, and ultimately it has to be understood. In fact, it is there, dhamam, it is there. There's another word which is used in the Gita. It is another word is there, is the dhamam. So I will give one shloka from the Purushottama Yoga. Natad bhasayate suryah shashanko na pavakah yadgadvana nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Dhamam means my abode. That's the meaning here. So it is the sixth shloka of the 15th chapter, Purushottama Yoga. The next one, Loka Bandhuhu, the well-wisher of the world. Now, he is the Adhara, the basic support in which all the worlds are tied down. Hence, he is a Loka Bandhu. Again, among those Bandhus, relatives, Bandhus means relatives, a parent is the best relative. Why? Because he or she wishes what is the best for the child. The Lord is the Janaka, the parent of all the worlds, of all the beings in all the worlds. He is the real Lokabandhu, the well-wisher, because there cannot be anyone who can care more about our welfare. Because even when our parents wish well, their wishes may not be really beneficial because they are not all-knowing. But the Lord being all-knowing is Nitya Anukulakari, Nitya Anukulakari, always our well-wisher. Further, a Bandhu must always point out to us what is Hita and Ahita. That means what is beneficial and what is not beneficial. So Bhagavan, who has given the Shastra in the form of Shruti and Smriti to guide us about what is good and bad, is the real Lokabandhu. So he is the one we need not be afraid of. Being in the form of infallible order, he is always a friend and never an enemy. These are all very profound because we always have the Bhaya Bhakti. We use the word Bhayam. And anything we start with the children, we teach them saying that you must have a fear of God, God fearing. These are all the words we use and confuse the children. We start with wrong teaching for the children. What a tragedy. Unless you go to some of these things which is there by our Sinmya school and the Swai Baba school things where the children go there, unless you go to those schools and then initiate yourself, where you have that, and then unless you understand properly where the children have to be introduced, otherwise you don't get it. So here what happens is you don't need to be fearing of the God, because a Loka Bandhu, he is a friend of everyone, he is a well-wisher of everyone. So start loving God, not having the fear factor at all. Of course, in other way, in another place, we say you must have the fear of the God. Why? Where? Whenever you make a mistake, whenever you make a mistake, God will punish you. That also we say. That is for you to. There is the other facet of the God. Other facet of the God. This is what we talk about in the Vishwarupa Darshana of Bhagavad Gita. Because we also always know Bhagavan as the compassionate one, Karunamurti. We do not know the other facet. When Arjuna asked for the Vishwarupa, Bhagavan shows the Vishwarupa, and initially he started with Ascharya, wonder. He was wonderstruck. Then it converted into Bhayam, because everything, whatever is going to happen, everything he was showing is as like a 3D movie. He was seeing everything, and everybody is going inside, and he was shocked. He was having a fear. So Bhagavan says, so there is another parts where whenever people don't behave as per the Lord's way of running this whole universe, the behavior, He will fix all of us. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya sa dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So understand, say, other word, other dimension, you must have the fear when you are going in the adharmic path. If you are go in the adharmic path, Bhagavan will definitely punish you. When you go in the dharmic path, he will push us. That is why very important among the four pursuits, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. You start with artha and kama. That is natural, and our shastra says very clearly how to earn legitimately and how to enjoy legitimately. The shastra gives you the roadmap initially in the karma kanda. Then the shastra also talks about dharma. What is dharma and adharma? In Thirukural, Bhagavan starts in the first section of first chapter of Thirukural, which is first is a Payiraviyal, then Illaraviyal. The first one is, he says Aranvaliyuruttal, the fourth chapter, the fourth adhikaram. You can put it this way, Aranvaliyuruttal. So the power of dharma is very clearly depicted in the 10 Kurals. So go and refer the English translation if you do not know Tamil. Okay, so dharma. Follow the dharma, Bhagavan is Loka Bandhuhu. If you don't follow the dharma, Bhagavan can be your enemy. Understand this. This is what is depicted through the Ramayana story, Bhagavan, Mahabharata stories. Ramayana, in front of Ravana, Rama appeared in front, and face to face. Ravana should have got benefit of this. What happened? No. His clouded intellect could not go and see Rama. And Rama gave so many opportunities, but still could not do it. So one of the things you should do is to, if you want to ever know the Dharma Shastra and understand, you repeatedly see Ramayana, Mahabharata repeatedly. You will see so many places. Should know how to present it also, because that is again a tricky thing. So once you do it, you understand this. So Bhagavan is what? Bhagavan is Loka Bandhuhu. Loka Bandhuhu. We'll stop here, continue with the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Magi Mahishaha. Gobhramanebhyo Shubhamasnityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Krishnarpanamastu.